So how does it feel to be back to events after lockdowns?
No, I've been attending events, so it's not my first event post the lockdown. Yeah.
Yes. What I heard was starting on a light note that during lockdowns also people delayed marriages a lot, right? And as soon as then they were uh, getting time slots and everything, just after the lockdown opened up, it became very difficult. Was that true or?
So what we've seen was that during the lockdown, there was an increase in registration because people did not have anything else to do.
Yeah.
But marriage did not take place, but a lot
Registrations
of matchmaking
increased.
happened during the time and all. Yeah, post the lockdown, yeah, the Russian number of people getting married. Yeah.
Got it. So coming back to the topic at hand today, so big tech has played a big role and also has had a big impact on the internet ecosystem. And so all of us usually know what are the big techs who we refer to. And without calling names, I would like to get started. So one thing that I'd like, Murugavel, you to share with the group here is like what makes big tech big? Like what sort of power do they have? Is it operating system level powers, app marketplaces, digital advertising platforms, etc.? So if you can shape the audience's view about how big tech is big and what impact do they have?
Uh, since we are in the business for more than 2 decades, we started much before internets become what is today. Let me talk about how the characteristic of internets evolved in the last 2 decades. We are talking about late 90s to what we are today. A desktop internet has become mobile internet. A wireless connection, wired connection, it used to be become wireless connection. A big screen become a small screen. Unlimited speed to today, this, you understand the kind of speed what you have. High cost internet to low cost internet. Internet is only for limited services. Today, it has become everything, whether the entertainment, whether applications, whether the maps, everything. Today, the device has become so integral part of our life. In the process, what also today, the limited internet users in the early 2000 or late 90s, today have almost like billion plus internet users. A lot of things taken place, which is definitely good for our country and definitely, a lot of good things happen. Definitely, big tech played an important role in making this possible. Also, government also played a role in the 4G. But what has happened is in the whole process, one fundamental issue, which is something very, very important to be addressed by the government, otherwise can long-term implication for the startup and also for our country. The internet used to be a open internet. Today, internet is no more open internet. Today, the most of the access happen through the mobile apps. Who are controlling the mobile apps? Two players are controlling the mobile apps, which is Apple and the Google. So what happened was, earlier I can set up the business, I can do whatever I think is appropriate. I need to only comply with the laws and the rules of the land. Today is not the case. It has to be approved by these players, and they think they own the ecosystem. Today, talking about what is the power of the big techs, they literally, in my view, control the internet because operating system, the app ecosystem. So yeah, you have to depend on them for distribution, for downloads or marketing. And today they enjoy the great share on all aspect of internet from access, distribution. Now they're coming into the payment also. So I think one of the biggest issue, because today as an internet company or till recently, use any payment gateway, you pay 1% or 2% or whatever it is. Today they're insisting that you have to use their own payment system without providing any additional services. They distribute it anyway, they make money out of marketing. And they want 15%, 30% of revenue to be paid by them. So it's becoming a highly restricted environment from an open internet because we see in the open internet. I set a website, I do what I want, I market. See, we're talking about in terms of the advertising ecosystem of this player also, there are a lot of restriction. There's a separate topic by itself. We don't have the kind of freedom what you have in SEO marketing, which is like, again, that's a separate discussion by itself. Basically, the concern is a lot has happened on mobile internet, but the biggest concern is it's becoming a two-player controlling the whole ecosystem. Tomorrow they can skew the startup. Now they're starting with the payment. Recently, what happened in Europe? Europe was that they introduced a recently Digital Act. Because Apple said you have to comply with the Digital Act where you can allow they can set up a the download outside of the app ecosystem. The app will
Yeah.
come with a
Yeah.
different policy, no pay per downloads. So what happened, because they are controlling the ecosystem, tomorrow they can change the models. Tomorrow they can charge Indian company downloading app, pay per download also. So these are highly concerning for me, because the government also losing money. So the startup making unviable, government losing money. In my view, the biggest threat what startup or internet company going to face is from these big techs. They've done a great thing creating what internet today, but they're also becoming highly restrictive, highly monopolist attitude. I think this to be addressed. It's a thing in order.
Thank you for shaping that view. And what do you think has been the, uh, how has the consumer responded to the big tech's role in shaping the ecosystem? Like, do you think consumers trust brands independently of big tech? Like, for example, if tomorrow, if there is a new store for distributing apps, would the consumer trust that more, or at least equally eventually, to Google Play Store or Apple App Store? Or do you think consumers have some sort of apprehensions that need to be taken care of?
It's a two issues to be addressed. Okay, it's one is the discoverability. So discoverability one issue to be addressed. Then the trust factor. So both are important to make the distribution happen. So I was there in the last week, Delhi. Indus App Store was launched. But again, Wildgood is coming from PhonePe, one of the well-known players in the Indian the ecosystem. But having said that, the discoverability is the thing. Today, when you look at Play Store, it's all integrated or it's part of the mobile operating system. It's a combination of trust, brand, plus also the discoverability. So until otherwise the discoverability gets enhanced, it's a part of the phone, apart from the brand building happens, what happened. Today, how the Google Play Store, Apple ecosystem was, people aware of it. It's because even early days, I remember, when you started building apps, we say in all our advertisement, we know used to promote. Go to Play Store, download app from Play Store and App Store. So all this company have done that. Then the people, okay, when you want to download app, you have to go to the Play Store or App Store and all that. In a way, today the Play Store is a creation of the company's marketing effort, plus also they were integrated in all the OEMs, all the bundling, what they've done, all the things. So to address this question, basically all these things to be addressed, trust plus the discoverability, both are matter and all the thing. Just someone setting the app store where expecting people to download may not happen. If that has come from the big player, that trust and branding is important.
Makes sense, makes sense. And what makes the Indian consumer market really hard to operate in? Like, this is kind of your Dara Khushro Shahi moment. Yeah. So, what makes the Indian consumer market so hard?
See, unlike the Western world, so see, everything is the digital and it's just online, by and large. You hardly find any companies online plus offline, because that's the way they've been operating, because the cost of manpower plus the way the internet is evolved, the ecosystem, many other things evolved in the outside India. But India is not the case. India, what we've seen works is online, offline. In fact, we see the people, the internet company was succeeding in India, most of the people have online plus offline. Only online only, they have limited success. Okay, yeah, there may be some companies, but by and large, what you see in India is the online plus offline. That means the cost of operations, it's high for the Indian startup compared to the global startups. Okay, because globally, you can set up a service where people can pay by themselves. Today, we look matrimony, in spite of being there for more than 2 decades, the brand is very well known. We still have hundreds of telecalling executives, service executive, reaching out to the customer, explaining the services, asking them to sign up. It doesn't happen by themselves signing up. Yes, some personal people do that. It's also getting better. But India only online service may not be highly successful. What that means is the cost of operations goes up compared to the Western startup and all that. So we have all these challenges. So on top of it, Google and this Apple asking pay 15%, 30%. Again, while today people may think it's limited to a digital services company, a simple change of terms and policy by Google, Apple, tomorrow they can change. All company need to pay certain service fee. So my view is not about only digital service companies are getting impacted. All the startup in India should stand against the big tech. If you don't stand up, if you don't come together, it's a matter of time, they're going to come after you, they're going to charge money some other way and making you too difficult to run your business operation, because there seem to be It's not they're not making money. Play Store make tons of money, the advertisement. It's a more of, in my view, that it's kind of trying to extract as much as possible from the startup, which is something we should be, we've been fighting against these companies, and so let's see how it goes. And after that.
Absolutely. And everybody here hopes that eventually whatever comes off is good for the Indian startups and the ecosystem. So let's talk about slightly when we think of the future, right? Like new platforms, like for example, when the mobile platform got created, it gave the big tech an unfair advantage because of which we are here today, right? So the new platforms that are emerging, for example, AI, which is in my view, it's a change in human-computer interface. Like tomorrow, till today, we were used to a certain sort of interaction framework with everything that we are interacting with, websites, apps. All of that will change, right? Because of AI and because of chat capabilities and other capabilities. And similarly, AR, VR with launch of Apple Vision Pro, right? Like maybe in 5 to 7, 10 years, there'll be more penetration of such technologies. So do you think the new frontiers of the internet, there also big tech have an unfair advantage?
I think so. First of all, we have to see whether how this new technology is going to play out. Sometimes some of this technology evolves. You have to distinguish between whether it's a trend or fad, because 2 years ago it was a lot of meta, but I don't know. Meta appears to be more of fad than the trend. I don't know. Things may change as well. So trend something is real, impacting and making a difference. Fad something is just comes and goes. We are not sure whether how the whole thing going to play out. This AR, VR and other things. But no matter what, how the technology evolves, either these company either be in the forefront of this technology evolution, they set the trend because of the scale and size, the muscle they have, the kind of money they invest in begin the research, R&D. So either they will be able to create a next frontier or next wave for how the internet access is going to be. Or if someone comes, they may catch up because it was created on Meta. The entire, we're talking about AR and VR. Now the Apple is coming up with their own devices. But no matter whether someone creates, they adopt. But thing is that whether the dominations continue, in my view, the foreseeable future, I see the internet is largely dominated by Apple and Google. So I think that's not going to change in the near term until otherwise someone comes with a brilliant way of accessing technology where completely device free. I saw an advertisement, it was some kind of demo and all that where it's, we just kind of, we don't even device it, can draw something, I'm not able to put it appropriately. I don't know, something changes, then where you have come out of this control of these two players and all. But at this point of time, I don't see that's happening in the near future and all the thing. Maybe not in the foreseeable future.
Makes sense. So nowadays everything is becoming digital. When do you think we'll see something like a digital shadi or a digital marriage? Something. How do you? What visuals does it comes to your mind when you think of this term?
So, so marriages are real, okay? So we need a companion, and so it's not about a digital avatar or digital companionship. So but again, technology evolved. So in fact, it was some time back we should discuss in the office. Instead of meeting a prospect in person, imagine the prospect comes in front of you. It's more like we're having a real life conversation. Today what is that? The matrimony application, we are seeing the pictures, and hardly people put the videos. So most of the information are non-dynamic. It's a static information. It's no dynamism into the matchmaking. So in fact, we need to discuss in the office. Imagine, wouldn't it be wonderful that assume that other person also available. A click of the button, both available. You can click and you can have the both of them are coming into a augmented reality where you can have the real life conversation. You understand? Okay, I'm talking to so and so at the comfort of your home. Okay, and not meeting person in some environment, physical environment, you can decide whether you want to, accept or decline. It's a more of Star Wars kind of thing. Okay, the digital characters, not digital, real characters coming out of the screen. That would be nice. Okay, probably my product team is here. Hope they can probably take these ideas and probably in the future they can implement. That'd be really wonderful. Okay, because like. So
makes sense. So this brings me to a big part of this conversation, which is who is supposed to rein in the impact and what is the role of the government in regulating the big tech? And the second half of that question, which is also very important, is how does the government keep in mind the different conflicting kind of interests, right? One is level playing field for Indian startups, Indian companies, Indian businesses. The other is the interests of the Indian consumer, their data, their privacy, etc. And the third is the revenue department's interests, right? Uh, so how do you think, if you were to make a recommendation, like what would that be and in what sort of order of priorities?
Deepit, we asked all the relevant questions. What definitely revenue said. Let me talk about all the three things. Today, the company like Google, they are not just a platform. They are also a player. What I mean a player, because they have the data, Google not only operating a platform and distributing apps and all. There are services they themselves offer. So today with the GPP as a Google Billing Payment System, they're talking about if you use a third party, you have to integrate your API into the Google. That means what? The Google has all your data. Tomorrow Google sees some business really succeeding, they can launch those services by themselves also. Imagine that's one thing. And the last for the revenue for the government, because the money goes to Google. In fact, Matrimony is a public company. If not for Google, would have contributed every quarter additional couple of crores to the government on the tax. So the money going to the Google outside of India. So revenue loss, data thing, and more important, that is who can rein this company? Only government can do it. Because the way they're growing, they are becoming uncontrollable. So until the way government takes this seriously and reins them, it can have long-term implications. Let me just think about, because they have the way of using their muscle, all this, the influencing thing, and the scale and size to overcome even some legislations or some kind of enforcement comes, they have way to maneuver and still dodge the whole thing. Let me talk about the CCA verdict. It's a verdict. I'm just reading 2 points from CCA verdict. If someone listen to the verdict, you understand why Google not following. It says Google shall allow, not restrict any app developer using third-party billing payment service. Shall not take any discriminatory or otherwise any adverse measures against those apps for using third-party billing. But Google sending an email saying that if you don't implement Google billing payment system, your app will be deleted. Let me read the second point in the verdict. Google shall not impose any condition, including pricing-related conditions, on app developer which is unfair, unreasonable, discriminatory, disproportionate to the services provider to the app developer. Google not providing any special services for us to charge 15%, 13%, which is arbitrary, which is selective, disproportionate to the service offered and all that. So look at these 2 points of CCA verdict. Any layman look at, okay, what? It's a clear verdict. But Google coming in the own way of, okay, you a third-party billing, if you 11%, 26%. And even what happened in the Europe, the Digital Act has come. The Digital Act talks about Apple should allow the third-party developer, they can distribute the app through a third-party thing. Apple's coming and saying that if you use that pay, you have to pay per download also. So basically, anything that government try to do legislation, they take a different route and impose the conditions to exact maximum revenue for the thing, which is, these are the concerning areas, okay? And again, there are other issues also. Google is violating, the big techs. Maybe that big tech should be more fair to the startup. Yes, everybody is a commercial interest, should make money, but not at the cost of making the startup unviable, and not at the cost of, not only unviable, it should be it's a fairness on both the sides. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And in fact, to add to that, I would like to also pitch in a couple of points there. Like, no, at the OS level, Google also, this is the least talked about critical stack that they own. It's almost like at the OS level, Google has control over the notification stack, which is a very, very important growth lever for most app-oriented companies, that who do you send notifications to, how frequently do you send, etc. And Google makes it compulsory for the OEMs as well as the app developers to use their stack, right? So I think such sort of bundling of multi-layered services creates a very, very restrictive environment for India, because India has to chart its own path. Indian companies have to chart its own path in a very difficult market. So if there is some policy being decided somewhere globally, it might suit their global revenues, but it actually harms India, right? So nobody has the right to be gatekeepers of growth for the India growth story. That's what I would like to
Absolutely,
add to
yeah,
it.
absolutely. Agree with you. So definitely a lot of admiration for what these companies have contributed to the overall development of mobile and other things. My concern has been on this line that, these gatekeepers are now using the monopoly to extract and make the startup unviable. It's the biggest concern what we have.
Absolutely. And I'm sure everybody here has lots more questions about what is the responsibility. Uh, there's one last thing, since we have about 4 or 5 minutes before we end the session. So how do you have, what has been the level of cooperation that Indian startups have shown with each other? What is the level of trust that we as a community of startups, the startup ecosystem has shown when we have to mobilize any kind of advocacy, any kind of litigation while dealing with the big techs and also advocating with the government?
Definitely a lot of things happening. I don't know whether how close we are tracking the changes happening in the Indian ecosystem. In fact, one of the recent changes happened in IAMI. Till last year, the global companies were the helm of IAMI. Today, IAMI is the helm of Indian founders. So, in fact, the chairman should be from Indian startup. So, like that, he made some, even that one of the IAMI is one of the influential Internet and Mobile Associations body. That has happened. Yesterday, there was a meeting called by FM, finance minister with the startup to understand the concern faced by startup. In fact, we did raise the Google billing payment issue as well. So that definitely the government has been very supportive. Government has been listening. The startup now started understanding this issue. In fact, this startup came together when the Google billing issue came. A lot of startup companies came together. We went to CCI. The entire CCI wedding happened because of the startup came together and went to the CCI to so set that right. So, but all said and done, it's growing, but definitely need more startup to come together because sometimes people on the sidelines, okay, watching how it's going to evolve. Some people not joining because thinking would there be any adverse implication for joining and supporting openly. But I say, look, we all need to come together and support in order. But definitely we see that increase hundreds of startup are coming together. Even that the entire thing went to the court. Almost 20 companies joined the fight against the Google billing payment system. So it's in the Supreme Court now. So companies are coming together, but we definitely get more companies to be part of this the fight against the big techs. Because look, there's no reason for you need to pay 15% or 30% of your revenue to Google for what you can get otherwise 1% to other payment gateways. So because they're already making money through advertisement. It's not that they're not making money through the Play stores. No.
Absolutely. And when you say Google is already making money through advertising or any of the other big techs, do you think the way the pricing of the advertising currency or ads, digital ads as a asset class is being dictated by a couple of players? Uh, how has it been playing out for the Indian company's growth?
Yeah, Deepit, that's a separate discussion by itself because unlike SEM, we can really choose what keywords you want to bid and what percentage of impression you have. UAC is a complete black box. You can't even choose keyword that you want to have your ads to appear. You can exclude the keywords. We can't, and you can't exclude individually select keywords. You can't bid for individual keyword. We can't say I want my advertisement appear only on the Play Store search. Google has a liberty to show advertisement on outside of search, wherever it is, and all the thing. So there also we don't have any control. There also we have no idea. We can only set at what price you want to get your acquisition, but no control over the keywords and where do you want to appear, and so it's another black box. So and again the cost wise again they are also continue to increase and yearly good percentage of search discovery used to be at a free for the brands. Okay, now that also getting monetized. So again, time and again they do all these things to uh, monetize uh, their revenue much better and all that. Okay, that comes with the
Absolutely.
cost of we running a business. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I hope with everyone putting their forces behind this, we'll be able to get the right stakeholders to get involved and take the right decisions for the future of the ecosystem. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Murugavel.
Thank you, Deepit, and I definitely look forward, all the startup to come together in this fight against the big techs. Very, very important for our startup ecosystem and for our country as well. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.